Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Whiskey Vanilla in the True Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "To My Pick-Me Best Friend Who Ruined My Marriage." I'm sure you're wondering why all of a sudden I exited every group chat you are a part of, why you can no longer find me on social media, why even with your birthday coming up, Christmas past, New Year's past, Valentine's Day past, you haven't heard a word from me. My husband is in love with you. You and he have ruined my life. I've loved you since we were toddlers. I barely remember life without you. We're 30 years old and your insecure ass put your own confidence boost above our friendship. You're one of the most beautiful girls I know. We tell you that every time we see you. The girls and I tell you how gorgeous you are and how it's insane that you won't date or are too scared to date. Regardless of how I side-eye you wearing certain shit around my husband when we're supposed to be having casual get-togethers, I still tell you that you look amazing. And even though it irks me how you want to play drunk and start to remove clothes in front of him, I still tucked you in and tried to take care of you. My husband admitted he gets your vibe and he can't get you out of his head. That he thinks that for the last 2 years, he has been falling for you. The last time you were here for a Friendsgiving, you and he locked eyes for a second when we were eating, and you took it upon yourself to start sucking some chips as if you were blowing a as you sat across from him. We all thought you were weird for that, and you just acted oblivious. As the night progressed, everyone kept drinking but me because I wanted to stay as aware as possible. I watched how he stared at you dance and how uncomfortable he got when you told your shit blind date story. You took it upon yourself to start talking about your breasts in front of him. You shook your ass in his direction as he walked by you to a song that wasn't even an ass-shaking song. Those next few days here were awful. I interrogated him and asked him what is going on with y'all because that wasn't okay. You've done lots of pick-me-ass shit here, like wearing a maxi skirt, but somehow that shit would raise itself damn near to where we could all see your underwear and you are not pulling it down but complaining you're cold. Like undressing halfway through my house while asking me for comfy clothes, and when I was a girl, what were you doing? You played dumb. But you've never been so disrespectful like that night. He would swear on God and on his mom, his life, our kids, that he only wanted me and that he only loved me, that you weren't shit to him and that you were nothing but the stupid one in my friend group, that he couldn't care less about you. Liar. I was irritated with you and didn't reply to anything you would send because I wanted you to ask me what was wrong. I wanted you to be oblivious to what you had done. Tell me why working through issues this and I decide we need to lay everything out on the table. I ask about you, because even though we haven't talked in months, that shit wasn't sitting right in my spirit. Call me a witch or something, but I knew what I knew. I asked him if there was something going on with you all, and he said I never touched her, and we don't talk or message. I only see her when she comes over, but she's in my heart. In your heart. You have feelings for her like a crush or more than that. More. I think I might have loved her. I had the air sucked out of my body. I asked him if every time he would suggest you guys come over, was that for him to get his fix to see you? And this guy said, I would tell you to have them over when you were down because I know you love having your friends around and they make you laugh and smile, but I can honestly say I had you message them to come over once so I could see her. I missed her. Insert my immediate sobs. I got up and went outside on a walk because I felt like I was going to have a panic attack and throw up. I didn't believe him when he said he loved you, past tense, so when I got back, of course, he was on my ass trying to smother out of me, even though I kept telling him to leave me alone. And he's trying to hold me, wanting to apologize, and I keep saying, but you're in love with her, until he eventually started changing the wording and stopped saying loved and using love. He said, believe me, I hate that she's in there. I hate it. I hate her for getting in there. I don't know how it happened. I'm sorry. I heaved and heaved and heaved, but nothing came up. I was sick to my stomach. I have been with his ass since we were 16. You know all the BS we've had to overcome. You know what hell we went through with my in-laws at the beginning of my marriage. You and the girls were there to help put me back together. Look, I don't know if you have feelings for him too, or if you just use him to get your fix at feeling desired and feeling wanted because you're too scared to find an available man to get that from. I don't know if you're jealous that I'm not as pretty as you, and yet I have a longtime partner, married, children, and own my own house all before 30. And you're as beautiful as you are, haven't been in a serious relationship since high school, are 30 years old with no kids, and are still living at home with your parents. I almost hope you have feelings for him, that it came out of nowhere and that it was accidental and never meant to happen, and that it wasn't the latter of you hating my life and what I have built so you could try to see if you could mess it up. Either way, I'm done with you. Maybe I might be willing to work on things with him because sometimes couples are able to get over infidelity. You, on the other hand, you were my best friend for the last 27 years of my life. How could you? You had my love, you had my confidence, you had my support, only for me to look back and see that you were nothing but a snake in my garden. You will forever be one of the biggest, harshest, life-shattering heartbreaks I will ever have. I'm going to try my best to not wish this karma on you, but I hate you so much. Edit. Firstly, thank you to everyone who has sent me a message or commented on here wishing the best for me. Some of you have really made me laugh and have brought me out of this Category 5 hurricane, volcanic monsoon, ball of rage and sadness I feel, even if only for a few seconds. Thank you, I dearly love to laugh. While I feel like I'm drowning all on my own, so many of you have been in similar situations, and that truly pains me that anyone else has ever felt this darkness I feel right now. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. The same healing you wish for me, I wish for you. Secondly, to everyone who is continuing to call me out for focusing on her rather than talking about his role in this. Read the title. This is specifically meant for her. I don't have to write my truths and feelings out to him here because he's getting that to his face. I don't have the luxury of cutting him out and ghosting him the way I did her because we share the same house, we share the same space, and we share the same kids. I'm forced to deal with his being in my presence, and he's forced to deal with my rage head on. I have zero intentions of letting her back into my life or ever seeing her within my reasonable control ever again, regardless of how my marriage plays out. If I pick up and find another man in the future, I will never be able to have her around my home comfortably again, and after all of this, I think I deserve that peace. This rage vent was targeted towards her because she deserves to see her role dead on and carry that weight on her back. She doesn't get to put her load on him because she knew what she was doing. She has to carry what she did to me all on her own. The same way he has to carry what he not only did to me, but what he did to our family all on his own. One day I will have to forgive this man even if I leave him because we have children to raise. My time with him will never be done because of them. Romantically, I don't know if I'll ever be able to deal with him ever again, but I will eventually have to get to a point when I can at least be cordial and platonic with him for the sake of my children. I will have to bring myself to forgive him so that I can continue to try to raise my children in a stable family life, even if it's a broken family. That's what they deserve out of me. They deserve to have a father that will continue to try and grow and better himself, even if it's not for me. They deserve to have a mother that has peace in her heart, even if she's had a lot of heartbreak. They deserve to have us around and not carry the burden of our history, grab a hold of their peace and stress. They deserve good parents, even if the parents can't make it work. This one is a petty point. To you annoying people who keep crapping your pants about me not putting in paragraphs or it being too hard to read for you, I don't care. I hope that struggles to follow along too. What the fuck do I look like trying to make her life easier by giving her paragraphs? One day I might not wish her harm, karma, or any bad juju, but my petty ass will probably always wish these every little minor inconvenience in life. It's like having to read a wall of text. Lastly, some of you have pointed out my comment history where I talk about having other issues with my husband quite a few months ago. Yes, I was struggling with feeling insufficient and unheard in my marriage. Yes, I wasn't sure if I was still in love with him because I was going above and beyond to try and make things good for us, and I was getting desperate to try anything. What all of you are failing to see is that marriage problems and emotions come and go. They hit in waves. As someone pointed out in the comments, marriage has lows and then even lower spots. And then you hit a high that makes every low worth it. I make the best effort I humanly can to try and better what I can better to see if what I built was actually worth it. What I didn't know was that 8 months ago when I was begging for him to put more effort in, he was already in love with someone else for a year and a half. That's why we were where we were. I'm not perfect. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I know what I'm good at and I know where I can improve. I know I'm mature and immature, all in the same breath. I also know venting my anger out for her is better than me telling her face to face. I'd rather deal with the fallout of my darkness here to strangers on the internet than inside jail. I know I was a good wife and a good friend, and I know I didn't deserve this behavior, hurt, or betrayal from either of them. You guys can judge all you want. I know what I am and I know who I am. I know I'll be fine one day. User I have a crayon said, I had a friend like this. She was in love with my ex and vice versa. I wasn't stupid, I saw it. I got her out of our lives, but it didn't change much. He and I didn't work out. We weren't married though, not long term, no kids. But she was my best friend. She really broke my heart too. Under this comment, another user said the following, me too. My best friend enticed my ex-boyfriend during a Christmas party I was passed out at in the other room. She got on his lap and started kissing him. He kissed her back. Her then boyfriend saw and she convinced him not to tell me. Her boyfriend eventually couldn't keep it a secret anymore and told me months later on my birthday. She was my best friend since we were 5 years old. I was in my late teenage years when her betrayal happened. The thing that hurt the worst wasn't her actions, but the simple fact she hid that he could do that to me. She could have said, listen, I messed up, but he isn't a good guy either. I knew her whole family and she used to let me stay the night at her place when my folks were abusive. She was my salvation growing up and she took it all away. I'm almost 30 now and I still haven't forgiven her. It was the hardest, most excruciating heartbreak I ever endured, and that's including my fiance of 3 years cheating on me. I still speak to her family as they were my second family, but my love for her has been forever shattered. User appointment OK said, this hurt to read. Honestly, the betrayal of a longtime friend would hurt so much more than any man's betrayal to me. I'm so sorry, OP. Keep your head up. That ex-friend of yours will sooner or later realize what she did and regret it so much it's gonna hurt as much as you're hurting. And your husband, I wish you could leave him. How is he gonna come out and say he fell in love with her? That's honestly just lust, and that never ever ends well or even lasts. User Mamansama said, I find your husband so stupid that all it took for him to fall in love with her and break your heart and family was for her to shake her ass and act tacky and trashy in front of him. It's embarrassing for both of them. I feel like she probably doesn't even share his feelings and probably just wanted the attention and validation from it. Anyhow, whatever you decide to do, never feel guilty for putting yourself first. I don't think your husband is worth trusting anymore though, since, like I said, that's all it took for him to disrespect you and use you to see her. If she reciprocated his feelings before you confronted him and cut her off from his character, I'm sure he wouldn't have had any problem cheating on you. If you decide to divorce him, he will probably panic, feel like he is running out of options, and try to manipulate or gaslight you, but don't fall for that. A man who loves you would have felt uncomfortable that this woman was acting like that in your home and would have asked you to tell her to stop. Instead, he liked it and even used you to entertain it. Take care, OP. Under this comment, OP said the following, I know them. I know it was all pick-me behavior for her. She did it because she doesn't like talking to stranger men. She's super shy and always has been. She could honestly have any guy she wanted. Yet she decided to go for mine because he was easy access. I'm the only one in my friend group who got married. Our tight, lifelong friend group consists of one lesbian, one bisexual, me, and her. Her work friends are all single, and there's the one widow. He was easy access, and he proved how easy he was. She maybe had a crush on him because she zeroed in on him, but he really fell in love, with her not doing a damn thing nor anything close to what I do for this guy every day. I'm a great wife. He wanted a housewife, so I became one and translated my career to a small business so I could keep doing what I love, what I'm good at, and compromise on the life he had envisioned for himself, even if being a housewife was my last choice. My kids are healthy and loved and beautiful. I get up every day at 3 a.m. with him to make his breakfast for work. I might not be as beautiful as she is, but I'm good looking. And for 2 kids, my body is hot. I fuck him about 5 days a week on average. I'm faithful, and even with all that, he found a way to make me share that space in his heart, all because she shook her ass and showed off her tits and batted her eyes at him. She's not even over here every weekend. She's here maybe 7 times a year. That's all it took? God, he's fucking pathetic. A deleted user said, I'm so sorry, OP. She sounds like a terrible friend, and I'm glad that you bit the bullet and stopped putting up with her crappy behavior. But you should also think about your future with this man who seems like he strayed a little too easily. There will probably be other women in the future who aren't your friends, don't know about you, or don't care about you, and they'll flirt with him and all of that. Are you sure that he can be loyal? I would be keeping an eye on him and rethinking this relationship if I were you. You seem like you are young and would be able to move on and find a more loyal man if you want to. This next post was made in the Pro Revenge subreddit by a user named Seagull Fan Club. The post is titled, "Tricking My Slacker Coworker into Sabotaging Himself." I work in an office with a guy I'll call Seth. He is that coworker everyone knows. Lazy, always passing his work onto someone else, and somehow always getting away with it. He'll sit around on his phone or go to the bathroom every 10 minutes. He's the kind of guy who will show up late, make some lame excuse about traffic, and then disappear for lunch for 2 hours. For the past 6 months, Seth's favorite target has been me. He'll send emails asking if I can help out with a project, but what he really means is do all the work while I take the credit. I complained to my boss a couple of times, but somehow Seth always managed to weasel his way out of trouble. The final straw came when he passed off a major report that was due to a client in 2 days, dumping it on me last minute. One day, I casually asked him if he was good with Excel, and he admitted he didn't know much about it. Perfect. The next time Seth tried to dump a bunch of spreadsheets on me to organize for his next report, I agreed, but this time I embedded a series of hidden formulas into the documents. These formulas didn't do anything important, just enough to mess with the numbers if someone didn't know how to check for hidden cells. It took me a little time, but I was careful not to make it too obvious. The kicker. Every time Seth tried to copy and paste the data into his report, it would scramble everything just enough to be completely useless. On the day the report was due, Seth slacked off like usual, assuming I had handled it like always. When the client called, furious because the report was filled with nonsense numbers, Seth panicked. He rushed to fix it, but every time he tried to fix one part of the report, something else would break. He came to me frantic and asked for help. I acted confused and said, "I don't know what happened. Maybe it's a glitch." I gave him some vague advice and watched as he spent the entire day trying to salvage his mess. Our boss found out, and for once, Seth couldn't talk his way out of it. He got lambasted for screwing up such an important project and was put on temporary leave without pay. I guess he'll be doing his own work from now on. User Medic Jambi said, "Perhaps every time you're asked, shoot your manager an email saying that you're happy to help, but you're asking the manager what other projects he or she wants you to delay to work on your coworker's project." User We Are All Made Here said, "This isn't pro or even finally growing a backbone and saying no. This is doing his work and then extra to frame him. Next time, say no first." User Huey said, "I'm an old corporate vulture, but when I was a little hatchling, trying to scavenge my way up the ladder, my mentor told me something that really stuck. Learn how to say no. People are always going to try and fork off their work on you, and if there's no way of avoiding it, make sure to do a really shit job. It's their delivery, they get to eat the consequences." Words of wisdom that shielded me from a lot of do work throughout the decades, and kudos on the Excel work. It's fun to be at least slightly better than your peers at it because of things like this. This final post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a user named Lulu Breeze. The post is titled AITAH for refusing to attend my sister's wedding after she uninvited my partner. I, 28F, have been with my partner 32M for almost 5 years. We've built a life together, we live in the same apartment, share expenses, and are honestly planning to get married at some point. He's been by my side through a lot of major life moments, and he's become an important part of my family's life too. My parents and siblings know him well, and he's always been included in family holidays, dinners, and even trips. My younger sister, 26, is getting married in a few months. Initially, I was so excited for her. When she first sent out her wedding invitations, my partner was included as my +1, which I thought was totally normal given how long we've been together. He's been to plenty of family weddings and events, and everyone considers him part of the family. But last week I got a call from my sister, and she told me that she's decided to change her wedding plans and uninvite my partner. She explained that she wanted to keep the wedding small and family only, and that since we're not married, he's technically not family yet. I was shocked because this came completely out of nowhere. My partner has always been treated like family by everyone, and I couldn't understand why he was suddenly being excluded from such a big event. I told her I didn't think it was fair. I tried to reason with her, but she was adamant. She said she wanted to simplify things and didn't want to explain to distant relatives why my boyfriend was there when we were just dating. I told her that we weren't just dating and that our relationship was serious. I asked if her decision would be the same if we were engaged, and she said yes unless we were legally married. I was hurt, and honestly, I felt like she was being really disrespectful to my relationship. I told her that if my partner wasn't invited, I didn't think I could attend. She got upset and accused me of trying to make her wedding about me and creating unnecessary drama. She said it was her big day and that I should respect her wishes. Now, my parents are mad at me too. They're saying that I should suck it up, go to the wedding, and keep the peace because it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, and I should support my sister. I'm feeling really torn. On one hand, I love my sister and want to be there for her, but on the other hand, I feel like it's unfair for her to exclude my partner after everything we've been through together. I don't want to go without him because it feels like a slap in the face to our relationship. My partner hasn't said much. He says he'll support whatever decision I make, but I can tell he's hurt too. Am I being unreasonable for standing my ground and refusing to go without him? User Ivy Bloom said, "It's weird that your sister is suddenly concerned about what distant relatives will think. Are they really going to care or even ask why your long-term partner is at the wedding? This sounds more like an issue she has with your relationship, not about simplifying the guest list. Your NTA for standing up for your relationship. If she can't respect that, it's on her." User KYMR said, "Something more is going on. Either there's bad blood with your partner or her fiance's family is ultra-conservative. Either way, it's a crappy thing to do." NTA. User Mia Fern said, "NTA. 5 years is not just dating, you've built a life together. The fact that she's treating your partner like he's not part of your family just because there's no marriage certificate is ridiculous. It's also pretty hurtful that she's suddenly excluding him. Stand your ground. You're not overreacting. If she can't respect your relationship, it's understandable that you wouldn't want to go without him." User Juno Glow said, "Your sister is treating your relationship like it's less valid just because you're not married yet, and that's unfair. I think people forget that marriage isn't the only marker of a committed relationship. You've been together for 5 years, and that should be enough to warrant his inclusion. I would feel the exact same way if I were in your shoes. You're not asking for much. You just want your partner to be treated like the family member he already is."